most of the information you see on YouTube is recycled. It keeps being used over and over again. People keep giving the same investment advice. It really is sickening. And it's hard to find people that you can genuinely count on and feel like everyone is just filled with quacks. Everyone's just trying to get up on each other. And I just want to tell you something. My name is Vic, and I'm going to just tell you how to invest and why my problem with things and how I've learned. A little bit about me is that I've been working in finance for about 5 years. Okay. I worked as a car salesman, and I also work now as a personal banker. Okay. And I'm on my way to investment banker, because I've been doing a lot of research and I take it very passionate. So this is based off my own experience, my own trial and error, my own success, and I'm going to provide some examples and some creative ways where I was put in the right place at the right time, or I'll force myself to be in that position, So, let me break it down to you, okay? A lot of people are just gonna recycle the same investment BS, and it's sickening. Like, oh, you put $100 in VOO. Oh, I put $100 in SPY. That's all you gotta do, put money in SPY. Don't try to time the market. Don't try to do this. Oh, I put my money in bonds. You gotta do this portfolio. These rules, like, and it's like, it's sound, solid advice. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. And matter of fact, most of it's industry, right? But here's the thing. If you want to invest and you want to be more successful than the market, and there's a whole bunch of different things of people saying, oh, you can't beat the market, and the market's hard to beat. Like, let's be honest, especially when the portfolio starts growing. And it's really sound to like put a lot of money in the market, like the S&P 500. By the way, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. I just want to make sure I throw that out there. Like, I am not your financial advisor, but the main point is I'm trying to teach you how to do your own research. Because you go on YouTube, a lot of people say the same thing. And it's good to have that discipline. And after you get to a certain amount where you feel like you're taking calculated risk, not complete risk, but calculated risk. Because the rule number one is to investing is to not lose money. That simple as that. If you're a loser at trading options, paper trade until you're a winner, and don't waste real money. Get favorable positions on some paper trades. Get that going up. Do some research. The main thing I want to say is when it gets to investing is a lot of people, and this may have been cliche, is that you read books about it. But truly, if you read books, you can see who's the quacks and who's not, because they all have their own perspective. And another thing too is that these books may be outdated. A good example would be The Intelligent Investor. It's a very heavy read by Benjamin Graham, and aka Warren Buffett's mentor. And it's actually a very good read. I'd recommend it. And even the revisions have been very outdated in my opinion, but a lot of the core lessons, because it's truth, and it even states that in the book too. Like it prepares you. It's not like it just gives you truth. Sound investment advice. That's adaptive, and you got to be adaptive. You can stick to the same thing. You can put all your money in the stock market, or you can be carrying gold and silver in the vault, or at a safety deposit box. There's multiple ways, or maybe you can find something you're passionate about. And that's the main thing. I'm going to kind of break it down, is that the best way for you to invest and make a heavy return on investment is by picking a certain lane. Now, a good example is I used to work in car sales. So when I work in car sales, my goal, I'm commission only, I'm eat or starve. It don't matter. The first of the month comes every month. I gotta pay that rent. I gotta pay them bills. So I spent a lot of time studying, and I spent a lot of time investing in studying, watching these sales podcasts, listening to these books, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I started investing in skill set to return my income, which then I had more disposable income to invest. You know, you got to think about that. I spent no money investing in sales knowledge, sales skill, things that will never leave with me, things that are so transferable, whether that's with making friends, women, you know, building connections, being personable. You know, those are things you can learn, and those are things you can invest time, you can invest, you know, your effort into, and there is an actual return on investment, you know, and that's how you should be focusing on it, especially if you're passionate about it. You know, you got to develop passion, because here's the thing, if you put $100 in SPY, people have all these calculations, but they're all trying to make you retire at like 50 and 65. Like, no way. Like if you're watching this video, you're not in that crowd, and it's gonna be hard to find some sound advice, but you gotta like read some books, you gotta like look into this thing. So a good example too is when in the car industry, I worked so much. I worked my tail off. I was, you know, commission only, trying to stack as much as I can. And that's when I got my passion for investing. And that's when I started learning my knowledge, because I used to handle all the finance too. And that's when I got my knowledge on the vehicles and how to finance, what investments are, what assets are, what are the business users doing, you know, trying to do B2B, you know, like what are they doing for tax rules, like tax rule 179 for any like vehicle over 6,500 pounds, signed by George W. Bush. Like, this is just shit I know off the dome. I already know Escalade. You can get your ass a Suburban, a Tahoe, F-250. It's utility equipment. Like, these are just things that I know about. And I was put in a position where I found this guy. I saw he was trading in this Monte Carlo SS 06 with the LS4 in it. And we got it. We got him at 3,700, and I just went up and bought it myself. I got a Monte Carlo SS 2006 with LS4 and a V8 cranking for 3,700, and I'm gonna hold on to it. Hopefully it grows to like a good investment once I'm able to put that vintage tags on it, and that's gonna be something where hopefully in 20 years that's an investment. And I wasn't a sucker. I paid all cash, and I had money too. If you can afford it 3 times, you should do it. Is it a liability? Yes. Is it an asset? Yes. You know, but I put myself in that position, and all the money I made off sales worked. I landed an interview with banking, and I invested on my skill set of investing. I already invested all that, worked my way up as a teller to a banker, and now I'm on my way as financial advisor, you know, and it's all through learning, reading books, being passionate, and the income return on investment is going to be far greater than you investing in the general broad stock market. If you have a higher return on investment, you can do those strategies, but that's the real way. Finding multiple streams of income, working multiple jobs at the same time. Like, I was working a full-time job and then putting 30 hours on top, working part-time at the dealership, as working as a banker, like just hustling my tail off just so I can find reason. And now I'm at a position where I'm still working and I still have different incomes. Like, a good example is I started buying silver. I started getting access to rare and collectible bills and developing my thing working at the bank as a teller and speaking to coin collectors and, you know, like just networking myself and getting myself into these deals where I'm into knowing like which coins, like I'm a nerd about it, just based off people just giving me, you know, I talk to people, I do some research, they tell me there's silver, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now I find silver coins, and now I collect them, now I know people, I go to market, I'm starting making some money. I have an eBay now. And that was something that I was just passionate about. And it doesn't generate much money. It's nothing I can count on. But it's something where if I make a little bit of money, I just invest it in some gold and silver. And I sell it for a premium. If gold and silver goes up in price, my overpriced thing is worth fair market. And I'm a nerd about it. I also want to get into investment with like group investing. So the main thing I did is like, okay, what can me and a group of people invest in? And how can I start pooling my money with people? So I went up to my friends and I said, yo, let's find a way where we can all pool our money and just into some moonshot, Instead of betting it all on black, I'm talking about like, we all put our money into a moonshot company on the private market. So, because private equity is growing, I'm like, okay, let's go try private equity fundraising, right? So as a project, I went out and I wrote up a whole agreement. I got everyone, and it's like the minimum to enter is $50. And I got 7 of my friends to throw in we bought some company called Boxabl. Now this ain't financial advice, I'm not your financial advisor, but it's a company called Boxabl, and it's a total moonshot. If you read the books, it's cooked. It's cooked. But the thing is every time, those are the people I brought it up, and they knew about it. And on top of that, I didn't have to even sell them on it. They didn't even know that they knew how to invest in it. They're like, heck yeah, I'll invest in it. Holy crap, that's gonna be the next iPhone. I want a Boxabl. Like, these are like, you think about that, so it's a moonshot. Tesla was unprofitable, and the books are cooked. Do your own research before you invest in anything. Just don't go and blindly into Boxabl. I got in pretty early, like really early. So, yeah. So, do your own research. But those are just good examples of things you can be passionate about. Maybe you're passionate about, detailing cars, or maybe you're passionate, turn that to a business, or maybe you're passionate about makeup, a hair product, turn that to a business. Maybe you're passionate about photography or recording videos and editing, turn that to a passion. Read some videos, do that, music. Like, you can see all the guitars, like, be passionate about it. I got a music channel. Y'all gotta figure out who I am on music, but y'all ain't even know. And that can work out. I'm telling you, things work out if you put effort and you invest what you're passionate about consistently, daily. And that's the thing, is you got to give it a real shot. And a real shot, in my opinion, while you're still young, you're still in your 20s. I'm a young cat myself, 23, but I had to grow up real young. I had that hustle since I was young. Like, in elementary school, I was selling pencils and erasers and shit. And then in middle school and high school, I was selling, other type of things. And I was making a lot of money, and then I went down a bad path, and then I started investing into better things with a higher return on investment. And that's another thing too, like, there could be my YNs watching, trying to watch, like, investing in dirty money and you get caught up, you're burnt. And remember the one thing, okay? The one thing about being burnt is that if you burn some toast, don't matter how much you scrape the char off, you're burnt. So it's not moves, all that scamming shit, how to invest, like, this is going for the YNs, and shout out the YNs though, but y'all just gotta watch out, like, invest in clean money, get a job. If you too deep in, just move cities, bounce. Like, if it's, find a way, like, make it happen. But that's the real thing, is like, you just gotta start investing in your time and knowledge, and investing in reading books. Stop getting away from the generic recycled bullshit that we hear constantly on YouTube. Like, it's hard to find authentic people, and they exist out there too. Like, there's a lot of people I watch, a lot of people that are authentic and actually spit some game because they lived through it. And a lot of them are, just like me and you. and they're no different than us. They just maybe have been doing it for longer, or maybe they locked in for a longer time. Maybe they didn't get those lottery pick opportunities, but they forced themselves in that position. And that's another moral of the story too. You got to force yourself. You got to make sure you go all in, but take a risk. Because here's the thing: you wanna take risks, especially while you're young and you have time on your side. You want to take actually as much risk as possible, but you want to avoid ruin, and that's a big thing. Because the number one rule of investing is not to lose money, not to get caught up on these memes. Not if you're losing money, quit it. You're gambling, and yeah. So that's just my little TED talk on why all the investing advice is kind of recycled bullshit. I hear it on YouTube, and it's good, but it's recyclable bullshit. Same with them traders too, bro. Like, some of them are good, but most people don't have the same call outs, or there's a paywall behind it. And I think you should you should know what you're investing in. Like, you should definitely know what you're investing in before you do anything crazy. You should definitely do research. If you haven't read a book on it, you shouldn't invest in it. Real advice. You can't go off these YouTube people, bro. They're just trying to get a view. They're all recycling the same shit. That's how you know they're all clones, NPCs. Like, they're just cloned. Like, it's good advice, but like, where's the substance? Thank you. Video number 4, mind over money. I think a new goal. I put 100 views on my first video, but for video number 4, my last video still didn't get a single view. But I ain't even click it. I ain't want to view it. I want to test it out. So I think, being realistic, I'm gonna shoot for a whole 5 viewers. So if I get 5 viewers, it'll be a big surprise for the next video. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll figure it out. Y'all take it easy. Peace.